What is going on, everyone? Welcome to 24/7 Football, and we're going to be talking through the Premier League as it is back in just a few days' time. On Wednesday, we see two games: Man City versus Arsenal at 8 o'clock at the Etihad Stadium. It really is going to be a great day for sport and for the for the general population as well, just to get some football back. It kicks off with Aston Villa at home to Sheffield United as well. So we're going to be talking through what is actually up for grabs still in the Premier League in terms of relegation, European places, and the title. Maybe the title might not shift, but we'll still discuss that anyway. So I've got Jack Towers on with me again. Jack, Premier League is back first and foremost, and then the Championship returns after that. So Premier League coming back. It's sort of like a bittersweet feeling for me because I don't know what to expect with it. How are you feeling about football returning?
Yeah, strange. I'm not sure what to think when I start watching it every week again with no fans in the stadium. But I think as fair as a way you can end the season, I still think this is about as fair as you can still make it. So excited, yeah.
I think in terms of money, a lot of TV companies are definitely pushing for the Premier League to return. So we're going to talk about what is still up for grabs. And I think we have to go to relegation first because this was also a big sticking point for the Premier League returning. Because if they did go for a points per game basis, they could have expected a lot of legal action from necessarily clubs who did go down because it's one thing getting relegated from maybe League One, Jack, but getting relegated from the Premier League really sets you back financially, especially in the midst of a economic crisis that we're seeing with COVID-19 as well.
Yeah, I think people really underestimate what happens to the teams when they get relegated from the Premier League because how many of them bounce back straight away? Almost none these days. You only got to look at the likes of Stoke, Sunderland, Bolton, Huddersfield. It really doesn't go as teams think it will. Whenever teams go down from the Premier League, they think that with the budgets and squads that they've got, they'll just bounce straight back, and it doesn't work like that. So you can understand why a lot of them have been so opposed to the season restarting because they don't want that risk.
So just in terms of relegation, bottom place we've got Norwich on 21 points, 19th place we've got Aston Villa on 25 points, Bournemouth are in 18th on 27 points, as are Watford in 17th and West Ham on 16th. They've got 27 points. 15th Brighton, 29 points. Then 14th Southampton, 34 points. You'd probably say that Southampton is safe. Jack, for me, Norwich, dead and buried, not a chance they will survive. The form was horrific going into COVID. They've had a break. The squad's not there for me. I can't see them staying up. I don't know what you feel about that.
No, it's just Norwich last season was so excited about going up. I think more than they have been in other years when they've gone up, just because of how good they were in the Championship. They've gone up to the Premier League before, but I don't recall the Norwich side being as exciting as they were in the Championship. And I think they expected to do a little bit better than they have done. Um, I never thought he would. I never thought that he would be a manager out of his depth in the Premier League. Um, Maybe just not enough top class signings to have done the job for them.
Yeah, I was going to say about that. Do you think he trusted his promotion players a little bit too much?
Potentially, yeah. But then you can argue with Sheffield United that they might have done the same as well, and that it's worked out a lot better for them. Um, for whatever reason, I don't know. They play more exciting football, more possession based football. They keep the ball a bit better. But for whatever reason, yeah, it's just not worked out for Norwich this year.
Next on then, Aston Villa still got a fighting chance to get out of it. Only 2 points away from safety. Um, Aston Villa, on the flip side, spent so much money in the summer, um, and they've got key talents like Jack Grealish in the squad. Did you expect Aston Villa to do maybe a little bit better than they have? And have they really got the right manager in place?
And again, yeah, it is the complete flip side because they are a team where I do think the manager is out of his depth. I thought they might have had enough to stay clear of the relegation. They still might. I The thing is with Villa, they went up on the basis that they struck form at the exact right time in the Championship, and the team that strikes the form at the right time in the Championship tends to win the playoffs. They snuck in there at the last minute, got the job done, and they went up. They've made decent signs. I think they've got a good enough team to stay up. I thought they had a good enough team to stay up at the start of the season. But just for me, it is a manager out of his depth a little bit. I think they could have done with maybe looking at other options a bit sooner.
Next up, Bournemouth. I don't know about you. For me, I felt like this was always coming with Bournemouth because they've done such a brilliant job. Eddie Howe's done such a magnificent job at Bournemouth to bring them through the leagues. And I think they were always out of the depth in the Premier League. They were always a small fish in a very big pond. And it's nice to see them doing well. But is this the season that Bournemouth go down, Jack?
May well be, and you're absolutely right in saying that it's been maybe coming for a while. But I think the first and foremost, if they were to go down, there is no blame on Eddie Howe whatsoever. I don't think you can suggest they're a team playing, they're a club playing, well out their depth in general when they went up. And I think there's one or two players that are there even from the League One days still. Certainly a lot of players still there from when they were in the Championship. He's done a tremendous job with that group of players. I think there's just not been enough improvement in all areas of the pitch for them over the years. But is that a budget thing? Probably. Certainly not a manager thing. I think he's done brilliant, and probably the end of a great journey for Eddie Howe there if they go down.
In terms of their squad, we look at Bournemouth. They're a team with a 12,000 capacity stadium playing in the Premier League. Like, it's probably it's unheard of these days that teams with that limited revenue can go up. I mean, in terms of the squad, they have got a good squad. Callum Wilson, and they've got some really great players. Nathan Ake as well. I mean, when we talk about Bournemouth, if they do go down, do you fear for them in terms of they could fall through the league should they lose Eddie Howe and all these terrific players?
It would be difficult for Bournemouth because I think it would be the end of an era, not just for Eddie Howe, but for a lot of the players there. Certainly a lot of the older players there, such as, your Cooks and your Francis and, Charlie Daniels. These are all players that were there when they went up in the first place. And would it be the end of the road for a lot of them? I don't know. I'd fear for them a little bit. It all depends on who they were to bring in and after Eddie Howe goes and what sort of ambition they would still have as owners when they went down, if they went down. But, it all depends. They might not go down, but then it's not looking good for them, in my opinion.
Just outside of the relegation spot, separated by 1 goal difference, Watford. Watford, notoriously, again, from last season, such a good team. Maybe relied a little bit too much on Gerard Deulofeu. Now they've got Nigel Pearson in. They struck some good form, beat Liverpool 3-0. No one else has beaten them this season. Do you think Watford have got enough to stave off relegation?
Yeah, they hit a bit of form under Pearson, didn't they? I don't know. Would they? It sort of reminds me when Pearson was at Leicester and he kept them up. They just hit that sort of fighting spirit towards the end of the season, and I feel like Pearson has that. I feel like he installs that into his groups of players. When they're in a bit of a relegation fight, I feel like he can give them that fighting spirit to do it. I actually think Watford might be all right because I think there's teams with worse misfortunes than them at the moment.
Just above them, West Ham, 27 points again, separated by 3 goal difference in the relegation zone. Just how awful has this season been for West Ham, considering the squad that they've got? It is unbelievable to think of where they are. And now they've got David Moyes.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's been slowly going downhill for West Ham as soon as they move from Upton Park, to be honest. It would be a travesty if they went down, and they certainly would be a team that would be in trouble if they went down. They've really got to find some form from somewhere or they will be in trouble. It's sort of similar to the Championship in the sense that they're one of those down there that have got the sort of squads that shouldn't be anywhere near a relegation zone, really.
David Moyes.
It wasn't the most ambitious of appointments, was it? they're not a very favoured board at West Ham. They haven't been for a while, and I really fear for West Ham if they were to go down. But I think they might have enough to do it. They might have enough to stay up, in my opinion.
You don't go back to your ex, so you
No.
don't go back to David
Yeah.
Moyes. I think they deserve it from a board point of view. If they do go down, I think it's fully deserved because
Of course.
it's been a shambles for the fans. I do feel sorry for them. Lastly on the list is Brighton. Played some really good stuff towards the start of the season. You know, they play that nice passing game,
Yeah.
and they were doing really well. They were challenging well. Probably not the best of squads in the Premier League in terms of other teams around them, but the form has been quite awful since probably the turn of the year. Do you fear for Brighton getting sucked in, or do you think they're a little bit too far away?
They on paper they look a little bit too far away, but you've only got to look at their fixtures. I'm just going down it here: Arsenal, Leicester away, United, Norwich, Liverpool, City, Southampton away, Newcastle, Burnley away.
How many points are they getting from those?
There's some tough games in there. You know, the ones against Newcastle and Southampton would be quite pivotal for them. Norwich away could be quite pivotal for them. It's been great for Brighton since they've gone up there, my nearest city, and the people around here. It's been amazing for them since they've been in the Premier League. But I do actually quite fear for Brighton in that I don't know where they're getting a lot of results out of them games. Really, really tough games for them coming up. So they're going to have to find some points from some of the easier looking fixtures.
I mean, I really like Graham Potter at Brighton. You know, just his footballing journey, where he's come from, plays. For me, I think he tries to play the game the right way as well. So I do like Graham Potter as a manager, but it's going to be a big learning curve for him.
I think they've got the same results as last season, but just doing them a little bit prettier. You know, they've lost a little bit prettier. They've won a little bit prettier, but they're still in the same boat as they were last season. I hope they've got enough to do it. I hope from a Leeds, hope's a bit of a harsh word, but from a Leeds perspective, if they were to go down, it would favour us a little bit more with Ben White potentially. But no, if I'm talking integrity-wise, I hope they do stay up.
So, final 3 relegation spots. We've said Norwich are down. I think I'm gonna go for Aston Villa to go down as well. And I think Brighton. I think Brighton will get sucked into it. Just hearing that fixture list that they've got going into it, the form is poor as well. And maybe they're just a little bit too afraid to get down and dogged to fight rather than play that perfect game that they strive for.
Yeah, I feel for Graham Potter because I don't think it was very underestimated what a huge managerial job it was for him to do. Yeah, Villa and Norwich are gone for me. I wouldn't be surprised if Bournemouth went. It's between Bournemouth and Brighton for me. Just because I think Watford and West Ham will sneak results here and there, but I just don't know where Brighton are getting them from. Similar to Bournemouth, though. My gut is that Brighton will go.
And now we've got the case of the Europa League places, Jack. And not just the Europa League places, because 5th place could potentially get Champions League football. Because you get 5th and then you've got to wait for the CAS decision on Manchester City's European ban. And that would mean the 8th place goes into the Europa League. So,
yeah. So
really
City got banned, it would be 1st, 3rd, 4th and 5th in the Champions League.
Yep. And then 6th, 7th, 8th in the Europa League, I'm assuming. What a strange season it has been with Sheffield United and Wolves doing so well. Arsenal down in 9th place, but they're still quite packed together. Burnley and Crystal Palace. I think Crystal Palace have got a real lack of goals, but Burnley, as we know, have got that dogged fight that they could actually sneak up and do quite well. Where are you going for the Europa League places then? We'll assume that City's ban does get overturned and we'll just go for the normal 5th to 7th.
Yeah, I'd love to see Sheffield United get it. Tottenham, are they going to have Harry Kane back when this?
They are going to have Harry Kane back, yeah.
So they're going to probably have a little bit better form than hopefully for them that they might have a bit better form with him back in the side. I don't know. I don't know how anyone's going to play when this all comes back. I don't know how well prepared a lot of these teams have been during lockdown. Sheffield United might come back and just be absolutely atrocious for 9 games.
We saw Arsenal lose to Brentford the other day in a friendly as well.
Yeah. I think Wolves will get it. I think United and Wolves will get it. It's between Tottenham, Sheffield United, and Arsenal for me.
I'd love to see Sheffield United do it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Sheffield United.
I expect Manchester United to have some good form now going in towards the end of the season because Pogba's back. They've got a good squad now with Bruno Fernandes. Could United pip Chelsea to 4th place Champions League spots? Only 3 points in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think United are better than Chelsea. They are on paper. I think they are better. I don't know. I think Lampard has done a good job with Chelsea considering the ban that they've had on transfers. He's brought youth in, which hasn't happened in a lifetime at Chelsea. It's going to be close. It's going to be close between Chelsea and United. I think United might do it though.
Yeah, I think United will break into the top 4. Leicester, could you see them slipping out, or do you think Leicester are a formality now for the Champions League?
I actually think Leicester will do it. Yeah, I think Leicester will do it. I don't know. I don't see Chelsea and United both doing that well that it takes Leicester out of there. I think they've been good enough all across the majority of the season to deserve Champions League football, and I see that continuing over the next 9.
Is there any hope in Liverpool losing every game from now to the end of the season, Jack? Or Premier League done?
I'm afraid to say for you, mate, that they are the champions this season. I don't see that happening. But all the best, my friend, and I hope you do it.
If we did, that'd be incredible. It's not going to happen, is it? Liverpool title winners this season, all but confirmed. And that is where we stand on the Premier League places that are still up for grabs. Let us know what you think in the comments below and how you think the Premier League will go upon its return, who you think will go down, who you think gets European football as well. And we can't wait to see the Premier League starting again. So thank you to everyone who's watched. Thank you, Jack, for coming on as well. And if you have enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel. It means an awful amount to us. Check out our website, 247football.com. Like the video as well. And we will see you next time.